All right, good morning, guys. I'll keep watch over to the side to see if somebody else comes in. We're still studying food chains and science this week, so you're still going to be working with food chains. What you're going to do today is you're going to log on to Brain Pop. Not Brain Pop Junior, but regular Brain Pop. And you're going to watch, you're going to put in the search box food chains. It's going to bring a whole bunch of things up. The very first one, you'll see like a shark eating a little fish. It'll be food chains. You're going to watch that and take notes. Also, on the Sunday email, I sent out some study island notes. It was like, I think, a page and a half, maybe 2 pages worth of notes. You need to make sure you read those. And if you don't have a printer, just make your notes in your notebook, okay? So, notes on Study Island, notes on Brain Pop. Again, Brain Pop, regular Brain Pop, food chains, and then notes. And then in your Sunday email to your parents, there are Study Island notes. Study Island notes. You need to make sure you read through those and make notes. Okay? Are there any questions to what you need to do in science? Okay. I do not need pictures of anything from science today. Just make your notes and keep them so you have them for the next couple days, because we're going to need them. Because we're going to start reviewing and everything. Okay? Again, Brain Pop, regular Brain Pop. Search food chains. Food chains. Watch the video. Take the notes. And then on the Sunday email that I sent your parents, you have Study Island food chain notes. You need to look at those. If you have them printed out, just highlight the important parts. If you don't, make notes in your notebook. All right, we're going to move on to math, and then I'll repeat science again at the end. All right, in math, we're starting equivalent fractions. Equivalent fractions are exactly what it sounds like, equal. That means that they're equal to each other. All right, so it would be like saying 1/2 is also 2 over 4. It's also, sorry, all right. It would be like saying that 1/3 is 3 over 9. It's all exactly the same. They're equal. So if you have the papers today, let's start with page 413. Page 413. All right, number 1, it says, It says use the area model. Now, again, I'm going to tell you everything that I tell you exactly the same time we do these. As long as you do them in a way you understand them, it doesn't matter if you know area model, if you know multiplication, if you know adding, subtracting. Do them however you know them. Because they're not going to care on FSA which way you do them, right? So, it wants to know, are these two equivalent? 3/4, 9/12. Now, the way I know if they're equivalent, I need to look at it and say, okay, 4 times what gives me 12? 3. Whatever I do to the bottom, I have to do to the top. So, I say, is 3 times 3 9? Yes, it is. So, these are equivalent.
Blackmon?
Yes, ma'am.
I use like the butterfly thing.
Yeah. Yeah, some people do. All right. Number 2 says, is 4/5 equivalent to 4/10? I know that 5 times 2 is 10. If I multiply the top times 2, if I multiply 4 times 2, do I get 4? No. So these are not, that one is not equivalent. 4 times 2 is not 4. It is not equivalent. Good morning, Asia. All right. Asia, are you with us? Asia, if you're here, type here in the box, please. All right, how do I find an equivalent fraction to 2/3? Well, I can multiply. I can multiply 3 times 2. Whatever I multiply at the bottom, I have to multiply at the top. So an equivalent fraction would be 3 times 2 is 6, and 2 times 2 is 4. So 4 over 6 is an equivalent fraction to 2/3. I could multiply it by 3, each of them by 3, and I could get 6 over 9. I could multiply them both by 4. Doesn't matter what I'm multiplying both by, that's going to make an equivalent fraction.
How do you know the number to multiply by?
You can multiply by any number. So I could multiply but the bottom by 100 and the top by 100, and I'm still going to get an equivalent fraction. Okay, so like this one, instead of multiplying by 2, let's multiply the top and bottom by 4. So this gives me 32, and this gives me 24. That is an equivalent fraction. It does not matter what I multiply by. All right. So, looking at page 413, look at number 5. Number 5 says 2/4 is equal to something over 8. It wants to know what that something is. Thank you, Asia. I got you, babe. It wants to know what that something is. So, what I have to do is figure out 4 times what gives me 8. 4 times 2 gives me 8. Yes. So whatever I do at the bottom, I have to do the top. So 2 times 2 is 4. So my missing number that goes in that box is 4.
What question are we on?
This is number 5.
On what page? Oh, I found it.
413.
I found it.
Okay. All right, let's look at number 6. Number 6 says 1/3 equals 6, and it has a box on top. So 3 times what gives me 6? Well, it's 2. So 1 times 2 is 2. Okay, makes sense so far, I hope. All right, look down at number 7. Yes.
Are you writing this down?
I would. These are your examples.
Okay.
Okay, number 7. It says write an equivalent fraction to 1/5. All right. So it has 1/5 colored in, and then they divide it in half. So how many do I have on the bottom? Count how many squares I now have. Count how many squares I now have. So I now have 10 squares. So 5 times 2 gives me 10. 1 times 2 gives me 2. So 2/10 is what they have colored in. Is that what they have colored in on number 7? Yes. Good morning, Christopher.
Good morning.
All right, let's look at number 8 on page 413. Number 8 says 4/12 equals, and we need an equivalent fraction. okay? They didn't divide that circle into anything but 12ths. So what they've got colored in is exactly what I've got on my board, 4 over 12. So we want to get an equivalent fraction. The easiest thing to do if they don't have one for you is to multiply by 2. So 12 times 2 is 24. Whatever I do to the bottom, I have to do to the top. 4 times 2 is 8. So I get 8 over 24. All right, I'm going to do number 9 and 10 with you. Number 9, you have 2 over 8 equals blank over 4. Please turn your mics off. Now, how did I get to that 4? What did I have to do? If I multiply by 2, this would give me 16. So I'm actually going to divide by 2. So 2 into 8 is 4. So I'm actually dividing by 2. So if I divide by 2 on the bottom, I got to divide by 2 on the top. So 2 divided into 2 gives me 1. So my answer at the top is 1.
Miss Blackman?
Yes.
I literally just used the butterfly for one side and then just find the other one by the other side.
Yeah.
Are we on number 7?
That was number 9. The one I just did was 9. All right.
Can you repeat number 7, 8, and 9?
9 is right here on the board.
Can you repeat number 7 then?
Not right now. I will in a minute. All right. Number 10. You have 2 over 4 equals blank over 8. Now, what do I do to this 4 to get 8? I multiply it by 2. Whatever I do to the bottom, I have to do to the top. 2 times 2 is 4. So I get 4 over 8. All right, I want you to do 11 through 16 right now on your own. 11 through 16. Miliani, number 7 was 2 over 10. And number 8 was 8 over 24.
Can you repeat number 9?
Number 9 is 1 over 4. Please mute your mics. Okay, let's look at number 11. 2 times what gives me 6? 2 times 3. Whatever I do to the bottom, I have to do to the top. So 1 times 3 is 3. Number 12. Number 12, they gave us the numerator instead of denominator, but I'm going to do the same thing. 3 times 2 is 6. Whatever I do to the top, I do to the bottom. 3 times 2 is 6. Number 13. 5 times 2 is 10. Whatever I do to the bottom, I have to do to the top. 1 times 2 is 2. So I get 2 over 10. And number 14. Again, they gave me my numerator. So I just multiply 5 times what to get 10 is 2. Whatever I do to the top, I have to do to the bottom. 6 times 2 is 12. Are there any questions on 11 through 14? Any questions on 11 through 14?
Miss Blackmon,
Yes.
can you repeat number 12?
Number 12 is right here. 3 times 2 is 6. Whatever I do to the top, I have to do to the bottom. 3 times 2 is 6. So I get 6 over 6. All right.
Miss Blackmon,
Yes.
can you repeat number 10, please?
Number 10 was 4 times 2 is 8. I multiply by 2 on the bottom, so I have to multiply by 2 on the top. 2 times 2 is 4. So you get 4 over 8. All right, number 15. Number 15 is 8 over 12 equals 2 over blank. And number 16 is 4 over 5 equals 8 over the box. All right. So on this one, I'm going to work backwards, okay? Because I don't want to divide. So I'm going to work backwards. I'm going to say 2 times what gives me 8? 4. So I'm going to put my multiplication sign over here and my 4 here. So 2 times 4 equals 8. So what times 4 equals 12? Well, I know that's 3. 3 times 4 is 12. Yes, Ricardo, if you were working a problem, it would be 1, but on this particular exercise, no, it would be 6 over 6. All right, then number 16. 4 times what gives me 8? Again, whatever I do the top or bottom, I have to do the same thing to the other. So 4 times 2 is 8. 5 times 2 is 10. All right, look at page 414. 414. Page 414. We're going to look at number 21. It says, select all the fractions that are equivalent to 2/3. So you have 2 over 3. It says use the area model to help. All right, so let's look at this. Look at the very first one. You have 6 as your denominator. The very first number, you have 3 over 6. Okay? If I multiply 3 times 2, I do get 6. But if I multiply 2 times 2, do I get 3? No, so that is not equivalent. So that one is not equivalent. The next one, I have 2/3, and this one is 8/12. If I multiply the 4 times the 3 to get 12, if I say 2 times 4, does that give me 8? Yes, so this one is equivalent. So 8/12 is equivalent. My next answer, 2/3 and 4/8. 3 times anything give me 8? No, so this one is not equivalent. My next one, 2/3 and 4/6. 3 times 2 is 6. If I multiply 2 times 2, do I get 4? Yes, so this one is equivalent. And my last one says 2/3 equals 1/2. Can I multiply anything by 2 to get 3? No, so this one is not equivalent. So I just went through each answer and checked it. That's all I did. I went through each answer and checked it. There are only 2 that are equivalent, 8/12 and 4/6. All right, number 22 says, select all the pairs that are equivalent fractions. All right, so the first one, it says 1/4 and 2/8. We're going to check and see if they're equivalent. 4 times 2 gives me 8. 1 times 2 gives me 2. So these 2 are equivalent. The next one's 3/4 and 6/8. 4 times 2 gives me 8. 3 times 2 gives me 6. So these are equivalent. All right, the next one says 7/8.
No question, are we on?
We're on 22 on the back, on page 414. All right, 7/8 times 3/4. Again, I'm going to work backwards on this one. I'm going to say 4 times 2 is 8. So 3 times 2 is 6. So this one is not equivalent. The next one, 8/8 and 4/4. I say 4 times 2 is 8. 4 times 2 is 8. So this one is equivalent. And the last one, 1/2 and 2/2. So I say the bottom is 2 times 1 equals 2. 1 times 1 equals 2. No, this one is not equivalent. So you had 3 that were equivalent pairs. Are there any questions about any of the ones that we've worked today?
No.
All right, let's look at page 415. 415. That's our homework. Now, I'm going to give you a hint on number 1 and number 2. Okay, number 1, they had 3/5 colored. Then they went back in and they put these dotted lines. So now you're going to count all the pieces That's going to be your bottom number. And then all the shaded pieces are going to be your top number. Again, all the pieces are your denominator. All the shaded pieces are your numerator. Okay? On number 2, they did the same thing. They originally had 12 boxes, and they had 9 colored in. Then you see the dotted lines that they put through there. So you're going to count all the boxes. That's going to be your denominator. And then you're going to count all the boxes that are colored in. That's going to be your numerator. And then on 3 through 10, all you're doing is finding the missing number. On 3 through 10, all you're doing is finding the missing number. Are there any questions about what to do on today's math?
No.
All right.
Wait, can you repeat number 1 and 2?
Yep. Number 1, they had 3/5. So they had 3 colored in out of the 5. Then they put dotted lines. The dotted lines separated it even more. So now you need to count all the pieces, and that's your denominator. And then count all the colored pieces, and that's your numerator. That's what you're doing on both 1 and 2.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, and again, science, you're going to brain pop, regular brain pop, regular brain pop. Make sure mics are on mute, please. You're going to regular brain pop. You're going to do food chains. That's what you're looking up. Search food chains. It's going to bring up a whole bunch of different ones. You're going to click on the first one that says food chains underneath it. Once you click on that one, you're going to watch that movie and take notes. And then on Sunday, on the Sunday email that I sent out, there are study island notes on there. If you do not have them printed out, you need to read through them on the computer and make notes in your notebook. If you do have them printed out, you can just highlight. You can just highlight what you need. Now, for today, listen closely. I do not need a picture of science at all. Don't send me a picture of science. But I do need a picture of page 414 in math. So in math, page 415. In math, I need a picture of page 415. So let me repeat that. In math, I need a picture of page 415, which is your homework page. I need a picture of that as soon as you get done with it. Then you'll take your notes on science, but I do not need a picture of those notes. Okay? All right, guys. Y'all did great today. I enjoyed seeing you today. If you don't have any questions, you may go ahead and hang up. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.
Have a good day.
You too. Bye, guys.